I put it on for a G.
Yeah. Top bitch shit. You don't run the motherfucking city.
Before she'd ring in the new year at the Barclays Center by performing alongside Future and 21 Savage, not to mention recent collaboratives with artists like Fivio and French Montana. Well, female MC Chinese Kitty, she was born Taylor Hing on January 18th, 1995 in the neighborhood of Queens, New York. Now, Chinese Kitty was born into a family of Chinese and Guyanese descent, and while growing up in the city that never sleeps, well, both of her parents worked in and around the music industry. Now, her father, Nitti, he worked behind the scenes with rappers like Fabolous, DJ Clue, and the Desert Storm crew, while her mother, Nicki, she worked as a stylist and fashion editor at The Source. Now, considering her parents had such a presence in the music industry from day one, well, it only makes sense that Taylor became determined to make her own way in the field as well. Now, she expanded upon the reasoning behind this decision, where she told the Nocturnal, "It paved the way for me and inspired me because I've been around it for so long. I've seen my dad work with so many artists and do things in the industry that I kinda already felt like I had to be in the music industry some way, somehow." In fact, one of Taylor's absolute favorite memories from her childhood was when she was only 10 years old and she was invited to a birthday party that T.I. had thrown for his own daughter because, well, they were both around the same age. That was the first time Taylor had ever been invited inside of a celebrity's home, and once she got a taste of that lifestyle, well, she knew that it was meant for her. Now, it may have taken Kitty a little while to ultimately achieve her dreams, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. Now, her journey towards rap artist, it began when her mother introduced her to the music of Lil' Kim, which led her to discover other powerful female rappers like Nicki Minaj as well. Then as a child, well, Taylor, she would battle rap against her siblings to further develop her skill set, but she didn't get serious about making music until she'd already established herself with an impressive social media following as both a bartender and a New York City it girl.
At first, I was in the nightlife. I used to bartend. So I started out in like a club called Starlets that a lot of people know.
From there, well, Taylor, she entered the industry as a model and she transitioned in music videos, appearing next to artists like Young Dolph, Fabolous, and Ludacris. She also popped up on the cover of the August 2015 edition of Smooth magazine. Now, by that point, well, her interest in modeling, it had began to wither, and following the birth of her son at the age of 20, well, Taylor became determined to finally accomplish her lifelong goal of becoming a rapper. Now, Taylor Hing, she joined the cast of Love and Hip Hop Miami in season 1. She appeared alongside her mother. The two women, they went respectively by the monikers of Chinese Kitty and Chinese Nicki. Now, Taylor had actually dreamt that nickname up for herself as a social media handle at the age of just 16. Now, for those of you wondering, well, it's based off of her Chinese heritage and her love for an eyeliner that she used to use that people said, well, it made her look like a cat. Now, for most of that season, well, Kitty was caught in a crossfire between her castmates Gabby Davis and Shay Johnson, while her mom did what she could to help her daughter out. At certain points throughout the season, well, Kitty would also team up with Lil Scrappy to kickstart her music career, which began with the release of her 2018 single, On Me. But it was the single she'd released a couple months later titled Kitty Walk, which was a remix of Rich the Kid's Plug Walk that really earned her some rave reviews. Heeding her mother's advice and motivated by the similar rise to fame of superstar Cardi B, well, Kitty decided to drop out of Love and Hip Hop Miami after the second season so that she could focus the bulk of her attention on her music career. On top of all this, she also decided to be finished with the bar scene. She explained to the Nocturnal, "I was like, I can't live in the same lifestyle. I can't go bartend. I can't go do these things. Like, it's not cute being just a cute face anymore. I wanted to put my foot down and go after what I really wanted in life, and that's why I decided to do music." Fed up with the nightlife, well, Kitty used the industry connections she had made during her run on television to do a little maneuvering of her own. Now, she set up her own studio sessions, she started working with a manager, and she reached out to producer Hitmaker, which is also how she ended up on the remix to his track Thought Box, alongside Young M.A., Dreezy, Dream Doll, and Mulatto. Once these releases helped push Chinese Kitty into the public eye, well, she unleashed her first mixtape, Kitty Bands, in October of 2019. And that was a project that was well enough received that it wound up earning her an invite to Rolling Loud, which happened later that summer. However, once quarantine struck, well, soon afterwards, well, Kitty would have more time than ever to think about her craft. Now, the end result wound up becoming her debut studio album titled SMD. Yeah. So Kitty returned to New York City and worked harder than ever before. With nothing but time on her hands, well, she believes she managed to create the absolute best record she possibly could, and she then named it what she did because demanding that someone suck your, D? Well, you know, it's basically the most disrespectful thing you can tell someone in NYC, and, well, after everything she had been through to get to this point, well, it was the exact message that she wanted to tell the world.
My creative director, we just sat down and we just came up with this album, and it's just amazing, and I can't wait. Even the whole thing for me is just...
SMD would see release in June of 2021. Both Top Bitch and Been Poppin' would turn into massive successes. But Chinese Kitty's rap career, it was still only just getting started. Now, since breaking through into the music industry in a big way in 2021, well, Chinese Kitty has continued to release singles like Attitude and Boy Ain't Mine, while also being invited to perform at prestigious New York City events like the Ball Drop in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. There, Kitty, she teamed up with the likes of Future and 21 Savage to ring in the new year for the city that never sleeps, and as the only female headliner on the bill that night, well, it was a major opportunity for her to show the world what they can expect for her coming in 2023. Better yet, well, she used this chance to shine a spotlight on another up-and-coming female artist from the city. I'm talking about Maya the Don. And well, they performed the hit Telfie in front of thousands of viewers. Now, Chinese Kitty, she's also expanding her business by taking her act international with a recent appearance on English radio personality Charlie Sloth's Fire in the Booth series. Now, her segment, it might have been filmed in New York City, but the international intrigue was enough to send the clip viral shortly after its release. No matter how much success she ultimately finds at the end of the day, well, Chinese Kitty is simply a person trying to work her way through a complicated industry, and she wants other young girls to learn from her experience. She told The Nocturnal, "I'm a mom, a female rapper, an entrepreneur, a young boss making her way in a male industry, and I'm living my life. I want girls to know my story, listen to my music, and realize you could be a mom and still be a bad bitch. I want you to feel good all around. I want equal power within the fields. I'm not coming to play, and I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going." As for where Chinese Kitty's journey in the rap game ultimately takes her, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. After all, this has been before they're famous. Now, before I leave you guys, I do have a question for you. Given the choice, would you rather be a reality television star or a rapper? For me, I feel like reality television's got a bit of an allure. I mean, you go, you film the show, then you get to watch it at home, and you know people are going to watch it. Putting out music seems a little more, maybe the album hits, maybe you got a single on there, but if you don't, it's almost game over. So yeah, reality TV probably pays less though, just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as we're trying recently, well, we're going to leave you with a previous upload at the end of this one. So let's take a look at the recent rise of Shy Girl. Editors, insert that there. I'll see you guys in that video.
To be provoked to think about things differently and myself differently.
Before becoming one of hip-hop's brightest boundary-pushing artists, rapper, singer, songwriter, and DJ Shy Girl, well, they were born Blaine Mewis on May 4th, 1993 in South London to a Grenadine father and a Welsh mother. Now, while most profiles on this trailblazing artist like to hone in on her childhood living in the UK capital, well, Shy Girl herself always likes to remind people that spending time in Wales, well, it was just as instrumental to her development. In point of fact, as a kid, well, Shy Girl traveled to South Wales every summer, and because her aunt lived in the county of Kent, well, she spent a lot of time there as well. Visiting her aunts, she and her brother used to play in the woods and send their mom into a blind panic. Now, meanwhile, over in Wales, while music was always a constant, she told the Sydney Morning Herald, "In Wales, singing is a big part of sharing stories and bringing people together. If there was a gathering, by the end of the night, everyone would be singing. That was us."
Myself as someone who's still really experimental and just trying to figure myself out, trying to push myself to do the best that I can possibly do. And
the oldest of three kids, well, Shy Girl's parents were both very young when she came along, and they leaned heavily on her grandfather, a former collaborator of reggae group The Aces, to, help raise their family. Now, in fact, it was Shy Girl's grandfather that introduced her to popular music, giving her Now That's What I Call Music CDs and Ministry of Sound compilations that wound up sending her into a trance. Meanwhile, her parents, they exposed their daughter to contemporary artists such as Missy Elliott, Loco, and Bjork, while also taking her to galleries and encouraging her to find inspiration in art of all kinds, as to ensure she lived as full a life as possible.
my dad used to leave me like a random CD he used to work in nightclubs.
Now, one of Shy Girl's absolute favorite types of art in childhood, it was literature. Now, back then, well, she was a big-time reader and would lose herself in chapter after chapter, trying to find parallels with the outside world on the page. Classics like Tess of the D'Urbervilles helped teach her that life seldom, it has a happy ending, so you need to learn how to appreciate the journey for what it is. She also discovered love, sex, and relationships through Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles, which taught her a subversive aggressive way to approach sexuality that would impact her work as an artist. Now, she especially enjoyed the portrayals of same-sex relationships in that series because by the time she was a teenager, well, Shy Girl, she was questioning her own sexuality. Looking back at it now, well, Shy Girl, she doesn't believe she could properly identify herself as gay because she couldn't relate to the experience as it was being presented during that era of her youth. She found herself attracted to women, but when questioning herself as to why, well, she couldn't figure out if she was only feeling that way because so many considered it to be taboo. Now, instead, she simply got to work doing all the things she was meant to do. She finished high school, and then she went on to study photography at the University of Bristol. Soon afterwards, Shy Girl got an internship, and before she ever finished university, well, she landed a full-time job working as a bookkeeper at a modeling agency. Now, with music not yet a part of her life at night, well, Shy Girl became a mainstay of the London nightclub scene. In fact, she credits the club PDA Dalston as one of the main reasons that she was finally able to ratify her queer identity. Then she met a new friend, Irish-Scottish producer Salvatore Navaretti, aka Sega Bodega, and from there, well, everything would change. Now, making music wasn't a part of Shy Girl's life until her early 20s. Now, before that, she occasionally DJ'd at nightclubs around London alongside a female partner, but it wasn't until meeting her friend Bodega that she actually considered making her own music. Shortly after being companions, well, one day Bodega asked Shy Girl to lay some vocals over top of a beat. Now, when Shy Girl asked him why, well, he explained that he liked the tone of her voice. Now, much to her own surprise, well, that song, it became the trippy hit, Want More. When audiences began responding to this sound of hard-edged industrial beats intermixed with a deep, velveteen voice, well, suddenly a new path had revealed itself. Now, with an opportunity at hand, well, Shy Girl, she chose her former DJ handle as her new stage name and an ironic statement of intent, one meant to imply that she'll never hold back and always speak her mind when it comes to her artistry. Then she and Bodega, along with their friend Cuckoo Chloe, well, they founded their own record label called emcee, which dropped Want More in 2016. Now, 2 years later, well, Shy Girl, she released her debut EP, Cruel Practice, and that same year, she also quit her day job at the modeling agency. Cruel Practice, it revealed very positive reviews from outlets such as Pitchfork, Crack Magazine, and Tiny Mixtapes, which helped set the stage for her 2020 EP, Elias. Now, featuring unabashedly adult lyrics and production from the late electronic master Sophie, well, Elias would go on to be voted as one of the hottest EPs of the year by music publication Music and Gear. Over the course of the next few months, well, Shy Girl, she would continue to release a number of singles, including the Slow Tie collab BDE, as well as songs with Arca, FKA Twigs, and a remix of Sour Candy for Lady Gaga. Strangely enough, however, it was one of the songs in her library, a 2019 record called Uckers, that would wind up finding a second life on TikTok and going viral, leading to Shy Girl's breakthrough moment in the industry as users began flooding the social media platform with videos using that single to soundtrack some of their most shocking makeup transformations. With her name trending like never before, well, Shy Girl realized that the time was now to drop her debut studio album. Now, the release of her first full-length studio album, titled Nymph, well, it was created with the intent of setting a few misconceptions about Shy Girl's strength. Thanks in large part to her colorful lyrics, well, some fans and the media, they had flattened her into a one-dimensional image, believing she was only here to shock people. But after making a name off the back of her sharp tongue, well, Nymph, it became Shy Girl's way of showcasing her softer, more human side. Now, sure, the beats on this project are still heavy and her lyrics definitely cross over into like explicit territory, but for the most part, the music on this album, it peels away at Shy Girl's rough exterior to reveal the intellectual and sensitive artist underneath. She described what she was hoping to achieve with this project to GQ, where she stated, "I want to try to be more open, experimenting with what I'm speaking about. Being candid, I do feel like when you're honest with yourself and other people, you really get an opportunity for something. This isn't just about putting out a record for me, it's about developing as a person, trying to be a better person." Following its release in September of 2022, well, Nymph was met with universal acclaim and climbed all the way to the top of the UK dance album charts. Now, it also landed on the 64th spot on Billboard's top album sales. Now, that success, it led to Shy Girl announcing a deluxe version of the album titled Nymph_O, and well, that's set to drop April 14th of 2023. Now, as an added bonus, well, this updated version of the project will include a remix of Heaven alongside the American singer Tinashe. It also boasts collaborations with artists like Erica DeCassier and Earth Eater, as well as a remix of Whoa, I See It From Your Side, courtesy of Shy Girl's childhood hero, I'm talking Bjork. Now, this isn't the first time that these two have worked together. Just a few months ago, Shy Girl popped up on Bjork's track, Avola, and now the Icelandic singer, well, she's returning the favor. With big-time collaborations like these, not to mention a 14-date tour kicking off in March, well, pretty soon Shy Girl's music and unwillingness to conform to other people's expectations, well, it will become evident to millions more all around the around the globe. But as for where she goes from here, well, I guess only time will tell, because this is before they're famous. Now, before I leave you guys, I do have a question for you. Do you believe explicit lyrics start a conversation, or simply a tool for artists to, well, appear edgy? I know I grew up obsessed with Eminem, and let me tell you, them explicit lyrics, they made my life. And I think definitely part of his artistry, but also made him a little edgy. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And we're doing something a little different here, where we tag on a previous upload to the end of these videos. So at the end of this one, I'm gonna do Pink Pantheress, because of Pink Pantheress, we found Shy Girl. So I guess they're in the same kind of, you know, they're the new young stars. So enjoy that video we previously released, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Boom!